Hello again, it's Trevor Emden here, aka the Wizard of Wisdom from wizardofwisdom.com, and I'd like to continue my little series of talks about how to use the law of attraction by telling you how it all came together for me and how it started working. I've got my Kindle here. Let me just read you something from it that I found earlier today, because it kind of helps to hang what I'm about to say on some clear hooks, I think. So this is just a list of the qualities, what you need to do, well, what you need to get everything you desire. Ready? There are 10 things. 1. Be clear. 2. Be open. 3. Be willing. 4. Be happy. 5. Be focused. 6. Be expectant. 7. Be positive. 7, be energetic. 8 is be positive. 9 is be true. And 10 is be grateful. It's be clear, be open, be willing, be happy, be focused, be expectant, be energetic, be positive, be true, and be grateful. Now, that's from the Moses Code by James Twyman. Now, what I want you to notice is something that I discovered for myself in a different way to that. That's just very succinct. 25 years ago, thereabouts. Can't work it out exactly, something like that. All of those things start with the word be. None of them say do anything. There's nothing you need to do to make the law of attraction work. It's not a technique. Okay, there isn't a kind of formula. You go, well, if I add that to that, and throw in a wing of bat and a newt's leg and stir it all in a cauldron, it doesn't work like that. All right, it comes from you, and life responds to you. So I kind of got that in a clunky, clumsy way when I realized that I had 2 sets of tools that I'd learned and trained in, and I'd never ever thought of putting the 2 together. One of those was NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, but if you don't know what that is, just go and Google NLP, or what is NLP. You'll get hundreds of thousands of answers. But for our purposes, what I need you to understand that I understood is that NLP teaches you, shows you how to use your mind to process information in a way that serves you. Okay? So a simple example of NLP that will illustrate what I mean is if you and a friend are walking down the street and you slip on a banana skin and you don't hurt yourself, but you bruise your ego. You feel stupid and embarrassed, right? People see you and they giggle and what have you. And as you're getting up and you brush yourself down, you say to your friend, I suppose one day I'll look back on this and laugh. And the NLP question is, why wait? Because the incident is the incident. Can't go back and change that. Slipped on a banana skin. Done. In the moment, you felt embarrassed. But you realize also that one day you'll be able to look back on it and laugh. Well, what's going to be different when you look back on it and laugh? Not the incident, but the way you review it, literally review, in your head, right? So everything will be different when you look at it a different way. So you will literally change the way you perceive that memory, and it will make you laugh instead of making you feel embarrassed. Now that's a world of difference. Imagine the power of just that bit of knowledge. If you can perceive some traumatic memory and maybe not necessarily make you laugh, but at least feel neutral about it, you freed yourself from the past, for example. Right? That idea alone is massive. Now NLP has many, many more applications than that. It's vast and it's very powerful and very versatile. Okay. Anyway, I was trained in NLP. I did a course in it in London in 1988, okay, and I got a diploma in it. And I had lots of other peripheral trainings around it as well. But I have an official one, a certificate that I can hang on the wall, and I did it over 6 weekends. Now, that's one thing. The other thing that I trained in a completely different environment and out of my own research and searching, was metaphysics. And I learned to teach it, and I learned its principles from a lovely, wonderful English lady called Jill Edwards, who sadly passed away a few years ago, quite young. But I used to go and on courses that she ran, mostly in the Lake District, which is where she spent the last years of her life, of England, which is a very, very beautiful country area, beautiful lakes and mountains. So she taught me metaphysics and the law of attraction and how to employ what many people would call real magic, I suppose. Not witchcraft, nothing sinister or anything like that, but not that witchcraft's sinister either. Took myself quickly out of that hole. But just, again, use of the mind. Now, it took me, I don't know how long, to figure out that those two sets of tools, which I'd seen as completely separate, and I'll tell you why I saw them as separate. I saw them as separate because I worked in psychiatry and mental health. And to go to work and talk to my colleagues, and certainly patients, about the law of attraction and metaphysical things and having guides and maybe meditating and getting into the angelic realms and that kind of thing, which is the kind of thing that Jill was quite comfortable with. And Jill was a trained psychologist as well, and she'd left that world to write her books and teach metaphysics. I couldn't talk about that, or I felt I couldn't, in my workaday world. And even with most of my peer group, my friends, who also obviously, many of whom came from the same world that I worked in, it felt very private and almost secret to me. So I kept them separate in my external life, and I suppose that in some way I kept them separate in my internal world as well. So it never occurred to me until, I don't know, until things were falling apart in my own life, and I was almost urgently trying to make the law of attraction work to change reality, as if I could force my will upon reality. And then somehow one day, and I can't pin it down exactly, the penny dropped that NLP had already taught me how to change my state. Remember the banana skin example? So I can view things differently and feel differently about them. Well, the law of attraction was teaching me to get clear about what I desired, and then to believe it as though it was already here. And I struggled with that, because it was like, well, it's not here, right? So I struggled with, what is reality then? If it's this, like right now, if I need money and my bank account says 0 or even -0, then I don't have money. Believing I have money doesn't mean I can go out and go on a spending spree if there's actually nothing in my bank account, right? So I struggled with that until it became more obvious to me that actually believing there was money in my bank, or when I wasn't, was like Tony Robbins says, it's positive thinking, going around saying there are no, standing in a, knee-high in nettles, saying there are no weeds in my garden, there are no weeds in my garden, is delusional. That's not positive thinking. That's just lying to yourself, right? So telling myself I'm rich when I'm broke is delusional too. That's crackers. It's crazy, okay? But the law of attraction isn't teaching you to do that. It's not really. If that was my misunderstanding, and if you think it too, then I'm telling you right now, it's your misunderstanding too. But you can get in touch with how it feels to be affluent, how it feels to be putting something out into the world that's of value that people want, you can feel those things. You can feel valuable. You can feel very valuable. And when you're very valuable, people pay you a lot of money. Right? And that the NLP enabled me to change my state. In other words, the way I was being, not what I'm doing. Okay? Because look at the banana skin example again. When you slip on a banana skin and feel embarrassed, what you do comes out of the embarrassment. It comes out of the state of being. When you review the incident and can laugh about it, what you then do is completely different set of behaviors with totally different results. Okay? So when you change the way you are, you're going to have completely different, you reshape your destiny. It has to come from within. So when I put the two things together, the results were astonishing. Not overnight. Well, actually, I say that. Overnight, yeah, I felt better. Never mind overnight. Instantly, I felt better. I felt lighter. I felt freer. I felt more creative. I felt more resourceful. Because different state of being, different set of behaviors. They bubble up naturally out of you. Okay? But over the years, because once I got it, I got it. Can't unget it. Right? So all kinds of things. Now, I mean, I can only really give you tangible things that have happened to me because, well, no, actually, that's not quite right. So okay, let me give you two sets. Right. So tangible things, the spectacular ones, the headline ones that people go wow about, and I still go wow about actually, because they are amazing. Thousands and thousands of pounds was offered to me from a completely unexpected source when I was absolutely broke, like couldn't even go to the supermarket to buy a loaf of bread, broke. And I just stuck with, I wasn't calling it law of attraction, I don't think back then, but I knew I had to shift my energy. I understood that much. And I used what I'd learned, put it together, and it took 9 days of this having zero money. And unfortunately, I had some nice friends and a nice girlfriend at the time who kind of fed me. And I realized I had a choice. I can be in fear and panic and worry, or I can just trust this energy. And I realized that the fear and the panic and the worry would not solve the problem any faster. And I didn't know how trusting the energy would solve the problem either. I only knew that one felt better than the other, so just keep doing it. And it took 9 days, and I think it was the 9th or the 10th day. The phone rang from a completely unexpected source, a person I barely knew, who offered me work that was unexpected, and it was 10 days' work, and she paid me many thousands of pounds. Well, yeah, pounds, in cash to do that work. And that's a true story. And many other things. Meeting my wife in 2006, I knew immediately, even after 2 failed marriages and many heartbreaks, I knew immediately I want to spend the rest of my life with that woman. And I proposed to her the next day. There's trusting the energy. And she said yes, and here we are, all these years later. Very happily married, very, very successful marriage. So that's a real love story there. Plenty more money ones. There was a time when my car was, which was a much loved car actually, but it was on its last legs. In fact, it was beyond its last legs really, and was beginning, that time when cars begin to cost you more than they're worth keeping for. And we just didn't have enough cash to buy another one, and on a complete whim, I went into my bank one day. I was out with my wife shopping, and only because she said, "Oh, I just need to pop into the bank and check my bank balance." I never check my bank balance in the bank. I do it online. But this particular day, I went into the bank, checked the money. I actually knew almost to the penny what would be in there. I didn't even know why I did it. I knew exactly. But I put the card in the machine, took the slip out, and there was like, and I nearly went woohoo in the bank because there was thousands of pounds in there. I thought it was a mistake. I thought they've paid me somebody else's money. I don't know where this has come from. And I queued until I got a cashier, and I said, he said, "Hello, sir, are you having a nice day?" And I said, "I am at the moment, but I have a feeling you might be about to spoil it for me." And he said, "Oh, why?" And I said, "Look, I just got this out of the machine. Where's all that money come from? Is it actually my money?" And he said, "Well, I don't know, but I can tell you the source." And he showed me, and it was my money, and it was a payout from a fund that I had no idea they even owed me money, and it went back years, and they just dropped it into my account that day. And because we were out that day, the guy at the bank, of course, he said, "Oh, put that in a high interest account for you." So I went, no, I need a car. And so my wife said, "Well, let's go shopping for a car now." And I said, "But you have to be at work in an hour and a half." She said, "Well, we've got an hour and a half then, let's go shopping." So we drove to one showroom, and she said, "Oh, look, there's your dream car." And there was my shiny silver Mercedes that I literally had a picture of exactly that model up on my wall as an attraction thing. And I went, "Nah, that'll be more than I've got. I'm sure it will." And it was our back. It had its back to us, so we walked around it, and the sticker price was slap bang in the middle of the amount that just landed in my account. So test drove it, knocked the price down a bit, got a few extra goodies, and paid cash for it. So those are kind of some of the spectacular things. Now I said there's another kind of level, which is a spiritual level, and I can't show you those results. I can't give you facts and figures like I just did. But it's it's a sense of certainty, of knowing that I'm guided. You see, one of the things the journey has led me to is understanding that in a way we don't choose our path. Our path chooses us. It's whether we travel it or whether we resist it that makes the difference. When you travel it, when you really commit to it, the doors open, the opportunities show up, the blockages evaporate. And sometimes they don't. That's important to say as well. Sometimes they get in the way. And it's like, would you really, let's suppose that you like walking in nature, okay? So you go hill rambling or whatever. Do you really want there to be, this hill is steep, isn't it? If only they would flatten it. And there's rocks in the way. If only they would remove them. And there's clouds in the sky. If only the sun would shine all the time whenever I want to go for a walk. It would be really dull. The question isn't whether you can live life completely free of hazards and risks and blockages. It's a question of whether you're willing to have your adventure. And once you commit to it, the universe just kind of goes, "Here you go then." And sometimes it kind of goes, "Figure that out." But it shouldn't stop you having your adventure. So, I'm going to launch a program soon, a mastery program about the law of attraction. I haven't even decided what to call it yet. And I will take 15 people maximum through this program and show you how to do it. Now, anybody that does it will have to be seriously committed to self-examination, self-awareness, because this is It's not going to be an easy ride necessarily. It might be, depends on you. But it's not going to be a simple. I won't be gentle about it. It'd be like dig in deep, have a real look at your beliefs. Now, look, the other thing to say is this is I discovered this for myself. I didn't discover it for you. I discovered it for me. Okay, right. So, and I didn't even know I was going to discover it. I just was looking for answers in my life. Why did I, why was I so frustrated? Why were things not working? Why did my love life stink? Why was I up to my neck in debt and never ever seeming able to get out of it? I mean, literally, I used to, if friends from work would say, we're going to the pub. You want to come for a beer? I would actually think, oh, if I have to buy a round, that'd be so many pounds, and I don't think I can afford. And I would literally do that calculation in my head before I'd even go for a beer. And every penny was, and the romance life, don't even ask me, was a nightmare. So I really, really wanted to get all of that stuff figured out for me. I wasn't looking to. Well, I wonder if I can figure this out so that I can show somebody else how to do it. I came to happiness and fulfillment and peace of mind and doing what I love and having my days free to do what I want to do the hard way. Really the hard way. I have 30 years of not having that and and life knocking me about in many ways. Okay. But once I got it, and and it wasn't actually, to be fair, to be honest, it wasn't like, oh, I understand it now, got it all in one go. It was when I looked back on it, and I figured out putting the two things together, that in one go, and it was about being. It had to come from you, not to you, because life's responding to you. Okay, so it has to come from you. I get that. Life isn't happening to you; it's responding to you. That's a Rhonda Byrne quote, I believe, if I remember rightly, from The Secret. Okay, so that's that bit. I got that, but it took me quite a while before I got all the mechanics of it figured out. See, but once I did, now I can teach it. Now I can show you how to get there as well. And you might, if you become one of my students, one of my, let's call you students for the moment. If you were to become one of those, you might take some of my ideas and go, no, Trevor, that's not right. It's not how it works for me. Brilliant. That's absolutely fine. Okay, but I'm going to show 15 people maximum how to do this, how to get there. And it's kind of, this is not just about attracting money and love. Of course, those things, and health as well, of course, the big three. But it's not just about that. It's a journey to awakening, a journey to enlightenment, really. It's a journey to connecting with Source, which you can call God if you want. I don't mind calling it God, but I hesitate to use that word because I don't mean some external thing above the clouds who has a long white beard and a three-pronged trident and who points down from heaven and makes a lot of rules. I don't mean that. That's not God to me. I was never able to come to terms with an idea of an external God who created all of this wonderfulness, including human beings, and gave us all free will, and then told us if we break his rules, he'll break us. It's like, what would he be afraid of? And why would he do that? That's not love. It's supposed to be all loving. Couldn't figure that at all. Right? So, and if that's you, then that's fine with me. Absolutely. I don't mind what you believe. If it's you and you're open to having that challenged, then what I'm going to teach might be for you. Okay, so at the moment, right this minute, as I'm recording this, there's not even a link. You can email me, trev@wizardofwisdom.com. if you think you might be interested, or message me on Facebook or Skype. Tremdon, Tremdon. But email's probably best. But this is coming soon, and I'm going to take 15 serious people over 12 weeks on an amazing journey. So I hope that's helpful. I'd really welcome your comments. This will be posted on YouTube and several other places, but I'm going to put it on a blog page on wizardofwisdom.com, so that there will be a comment box below it. So I'd really, please join in the discussion. Please ask any questions. Feel free to and let me have your comments, and I will join in there as well. Pick up, if you on wizardofwisdom.com, there's a free report you can pick up about law of attraction that I've written as well. So I've rambled on quite a long time on this broadcast, so I'm going to stop now. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope that's been helpful. Talk to you soon.